Alright, let's see what video I can make today. Making fun of Twitter users? Nah, not today. Bad TikToks? Schlatt already milked that. Making fun of Dream? I mean, do I really have to at this point? Geometry Dash 2.2? I already got lobotomized 3 times. Garden of Ban 218? Maybe. Bring back text-to-speech videos? Oh, hell nah. What I need is a game. Something so obscure and something so stupid that I've played for almost 10 years that I can make an hour-long video on. But what game? What game? A game about balls. Fan-fucking-tastic, baby! You guys remember back in 2015 when a game called Agario blew up?
So I was at school today when I noticed that my best friend had a gaming laptop and I have a MacBook. Ew!
It absolutely exploded with YouTubers and computer classes around the world.
No, Tumblr!
I mean, you know it was popular when I see my friends playing this game.
Yo, what is this guy playing, bruh? What is this guy playing?
And no wonder why. It was a good distraction since it was fun, it was simple, it was free, it was absolutely baked with
let me think.
ads.
Nope, more ads. Nope, even more ads. Such fun when you're trying to play a game and it just lags. Oh, more ads. Ooh.
Ah, yes, the good old days. Oh my god, I'm calling 2015 old. But unfortunately, over the years, the game slowly faded away and was eventually announced as dead. But why did this happen? How did the genesis of the IO genre fall from 500,000 concurrent players to basically dead nowadays? And no, it's not just because it was a trend game. It's infuriating that the community turned a simple ball game to this. And it still died. Yet no one's talking about it except this one dude who made it his school presentation. Today, I'm here to revisit Agario and give it the credit it deserves. Well, deserved. As well as discuss some tangents along the way because I have a lot to say about this game. So, as the game now turns 10 years old by the time this video is published, join me in this video which took over a year to make because I was super lazy and slacked off for like half a year for the ultimate retrospective of Agario.
Go team, yeah! Oh, Apple, don't kill me. Oh, get out of here. You're interfering with our battle. Okay, oh, fuck!
This will be a long journey. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and liking the video because the channel's been dead for the past 2 months and I need to pay for rent. It's guaranteed I won't cover every topic out there, so I might consider a second video if this video reaches 16.9 thousand likes. Also, if you want sneak peeks of upcoming videos and access to my exclusive Discord server, consider becoming a member of Whirow Nation by clicking that join button, baby. Slungus would greatly appreciate it. Lastly, if any streamers are reacting to this video, please credit my video in your descriptions, pretty please. Pretty please. Anyways, where do we start our journey? Well, first of all, what the hell am I even talking about? Agario, named after the real-life substance agar, is a massive multiplayer online browser game developed by 19-year-old Matheus Valadares, later known as Zeach or M28. In the game, you control this little circle guy, or a cell around the petri dish looking map, and grow bigger by eating pellets, viruses, and other players. Once you become the #1 cell in the server, congratulations, you win! Time to claim your 10,000... well, it's not gonna be that easy to become big when there's a few other buttons up your sleeve. You can press the spacebar to split your cells in two to eat faraway players. Don't worry, your cell will merge after some time. You can also press W to eject some of your mass in these little circles which you can feed to other players. Yay, teamwork! Asterisk. While these are the only buttons you can use for this game, there is one game mechanic that most people miss out on. Viruses.
Spiky balls.
These things are so weirdly complex and useful at the same time, but all you need to know for now is try not to eat them, even though they do give mass. They'll explode you into a million pieces. Now that you know at least a little bit about the game, let's turn the table all the way back to 2014. Before Agario was made, Valadares made a couple other games back in 2014. Now, say that year again, 2014. What game rings a bell in this year? What game was made in 2014 that was so influential that it caused an international frenzy? He made an MMO version of Flappy Bird.
You get past the second one and I'm a butt slut.
10 out of 10 game, I wish I could play it, but it is taken down. No! Also, I didn't realize before that this game had themes. One of them is an underwater fish. And the other one is, I
guess you're a sperm, and the environment you're in is probably a vagina.
Those little tadpoles.
Why are you laughing about tadpoles?
Oh yeah, tadpoles. Tadpoles.
How classy, Zeach.
Look at them! Oh.
After that amazing experience, he finally made the first IO game, Cursors.io. A game where you're a little cursor, surprise surprise, and team up with other cursors to solve various mazes. You can tell that this game was made by him by looking at the Wayback Machine, where one snapshot back in 2015 has this message to promote Agario when it was first released. If you're wondering why Zeach used the .io domain, it's most likely because they're cheap. I mean, look at those prices he's claiming, god damn! Unfortunately, this quote-unquote IO game was taken down in 2019 because the cursors would just advertise shit. Oh yeah, also the game was dead. If you want to play a revived version of this game, go play the one on Roblox, which is only a little bit more chaotic. Oh my god! We also have Voar.io, where you play as a spaceship with other players and try not to crash your spaceship into a cruel, bloody death! You get more points by orbiting nearer the Earth, where it's easier to die, but you can also boost to go farther away to avoid being hit. It's kinda obvious why this game was taken down after only a year, since this is the only video footage I have for this game. Oh, and also the bots, that's probably... Zeach did say the game would be back and running, but... yeah, that never happened. If you want to play a similar game, try Satellite.io instead. Okay, 3 failed IO games and 1 masterpiece. Well, I guess 5th time's the charm. On April 27th, 2015, with the help of C++, JavaScript, and /V, Zeach finally released Agario, named after the red algae extract and known for its simple and iconic domain. Now, you have an underground developer make a simple game for a mainly 4chan audience. Surely the game wouldn't explode at an alarming rate, right? Right?
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier.
It's called Agario.
Agar.io.
Agario.
Agario.
AGAR.io.
Agario. Agar.io.
They're beating me! Oh my god, I love you!
Yeah, the game immediately caught on. So much so that Valadares went to Lisbon to meet executives at Miniclip, the publisher of the game played by the most annoying people you ever met, and Subway Surfers, to discuss Agario's acquisition by the company, which definitely didn't foreshadow the game's eventual downfall. But let's just get back to the game's launch. Literally just a day later, the Agario subreddit was made, and what I believe to be the very first article written about the game on Destructoid. It was actually written by the former co-editor-in-chief at Destructoid, and he wrote that the Destructoid staff wouldn't stop playing the game because it was so hilarious. I also found the second earliest article on Boing Boing. What the hell is Boing Boing? And I mean, it came second place, so does anyone even care? Agario was also first talked about on other subreddits, and Y Combinator? Zeach actually did a Q&A on here, answering questions about the game's servers, which is typical Y Combinator stuff that puts me to sleep because that ain't my job. Anyways, if you're about to use this video as background noise already, let me entertain you with this Reddit meme I found.
Agario, in a nutshell me. Suck my dick.
So only 2 days into launch, word of mouth quickly made the game notable on Reddit, and 4chan of course, and Twitch would follow suit on April 30th, when the first notable streamer, Destiny, would live stream the game for a beautiful 51 minutes. And holy crap, this video is a joy.
Oh yeah! It's time to run! Oh my god! Oh!
With this said, I can't really tell you much about Agario on Twitch, or even if Destiny was the first big streamer to play since all of the VODs are deleted. But let's just say it was him. Not too long after, YouTubers would follow suit with their videos on Agario too, with the Royal Viking on May 3rd and Vinesauce on May 4th. After watching all these videos and VODs, let me take the time to make a list of unusually weird quirks the game had during its launch. The leaderboard was only a top 5 instead of a top 10. Being on the leaderboard wouldn't highlight your name red. It was called a scoreboard instead of a leaderboard. Your score was at the middle of the screen instead of the bottom left. In Destiny's stream, you can see that there's actually no score shown. The Y in your name would be cut off. The names were also off-centered. There were no settings. Google Plus is linked at the bottom.
Oh hell nah.
In the controls, there was no way to eject your mouse with W. There was no zooming, so being big means you can literally just see yourself. None of the players knew what the hell they were doing. The viruses wouldn't just pop your pieces, they fucking exploded your pieces. Being split into a lot of pieces was a glitchy mess. There used to be a Q or control button to spread your pieces. I guess to allow this to happen. And of course, how could I forget the splitting mechanic itself? You went like 300 kilometers when you split, and sometimes didn't even go the right direction. You can hear Destiny press spacebar once, but he split into 4.
You're mine. Oh shit!
Also, fun fact, the game was actually greenlit on Steam, but nothing came out of that, and I don't know why. If you still want to play Agario on Steam, go play Mitosis, or Sempa, or something, I don't know. The game would quickly reach new players over the next month because of streamers like Destiny, but no one could have prepared for the atomic bomb that would explode. Continuing May and June 2015, the developer, Zeach, would add updates to the game, including a bigger map, settings, dark mode, a spectate button, more servers, a hell lot of bug fixes, and finally, no Google Plus linked at the bottom. Let's go! And this would be the time a hell lot of mainstream YouTubers would start making videos on this game, including Cory Kenshin, Fernan Flu, Jelly,
What the fuck?
Logo, Quabblecop, popular MMOs, who never pronounced Doge right,
Doggy!
Sunday, who never pronounced Agario right,
This is called Agrario.
iTown Gameplay, Squeezy, Nadivasa, Mini Mentor, React, oh okay, Deji, LD Shadow Lady, Bodil 40, Generic B, Sniper Wolf,
Back at it again with Jario.
Orkuni Shitmak, Jahrain, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and of course, article after article, stream after stream. This game would not stop its rise from Zeach's original 4chan audience to players around the world for its simplicity, accessibility, and replayability. Everyone wanted to get that coveted #1 position. And often, you just gotta depend on luck to be on your side. Whether that is a big player popping, a fan giving you mass, or, you know, the server suddenly disconnecting you and you have to start all over again. And if you want your friends to play with you, no download needed. Just put Agario on your browser and boom! You're already in the game. computer classes will never be the same after this one. There was even a journal article made about the game in 2018, arguing that Agario's success was due to the usernames and the leaderboard. Think about it. You can put any message you want on your cell, and if you're the largest player in the server, that message will be seen by everyone, no matter what, with no one knowing you personally since it's all anonymous. As a game coming from 4chan, this freedom sparked both enormous success and prominent hate speech in the game, with the first controversy being from its skins. When I was discussing new features the game added during May 2015, I left out one major detail: skins. You see, you spawned with a randomly colored cell, which is boring, so why not add a funny little image on your blob instead? You didn't need to pay for these skins, hint hint, but you do need a custom name for your skin to show. Agar.io has a lot of these skins, 133 before 2016, probably 2 quadrillion today, all custom made for politicians, countries, websites, YouTubers, and Indiana for some reason. However, out of the 2 quadrillion skins out there, at least 12 of them have been removed for a number of reasons. Some just recently for the Russian invasion of Ukraine, but most of them because they were pretty offensive and started some angry Reddit threads. But I'm still confused with removing these skins but not Imperial Japan. Just saying. And then there's PewDiePie's skin, which was removed for God knows what. Could be his past controversies, but Miniclip never stated shit. And I'm gonna be honest, the funniest part about all this is how 2015 YouTubers reacted to seeing these skins when they were still in the game. It's like, whoops, I see a popular Austrian painter in my game, that's fine, YouTube won't demonetize me, right? Also, don't forget my personal favorite clip of all time.
Oh, Apple, don't kill me. Boat, get out of here. You're interfering with our battle. Okay, oh, fuck!
Yeah. Turkey also became part of the hate because of websites like Ekşi Sözlük, basically a weird Turkish amalgamation of Reddit and the Urban Dictionary. Agar.io was so popular there that Turkish players would name themselves to promote their candidate for the 2015 Turkish national elections, and Turkish politicians would use Agar.io for their campaign. I am not making this up, but Turkish players would also become infamous worldwide for teaming up with other Turks in European servers with names like Turkler, Turkiye, Turkey, W equals Turk team. I mean, look, Agar.io is a pretty balanced game, unless you work with other players. Then it's stupidly easy to get number 1 and ruin the fun for everyone. But I can't help but laugh at this whole ordeal because it caused Zeach to add a Turkey server to the game in late May. You got the continents of the world and Turkey! But hey, with all the fuss on this game, the gameplay is getting kinda old. Maybe it's time we add another game mode? Only 2 weeks after launch, on May 11th, with a name that will soon strike fear into Agar.io players, the first game mode was added, Teams Mode. This mode has a lot of notable differences from Free-for-All, but its main difference is, well, it's right there in the title. While you supposedly play alone in Free-for-All, in Teams Mode, you either spawn in Team Red, Green, or Blue, and work with your teammates to have the largest percentage of mass in the server. Here are some other differences with this game mode. Cells in the same team can't eat each other and can only W mass. The leaderboard only shows the 3 colors and their mass percentages. Skins do not work at all in this mode, and no mass is given from viruses, meaning the only way to grow is to eat pellets and other players. These differences don't seem too major, but a recurring theme in Agar.io is how small changes create entirely different gameplay and strategy, forming a new community that prefer Teams Mode over FFA. I won't cover Teams Mode nor its community in depth though, since this video was already long enough. All you gotta know is that JP Agar.io is my favorite player from the game's prime, and Ems is my favorite from recent times. Both of them are amazing players whom you should subscribe to and say, "I came from whirow" in the comment section if you are interested in that content. But both also originate from the fact that Agar.io was large enough and popular enough to be considered profitable on YouTube. That's right. From the moment Teams Mode was added was the start of Agar.io YouTubers. Earlier I mentioned the mainstream YouTubers who made their individual videos on Agar.io, but the game wouldn't stop exploding in popularity. I mean, pretty much anything Agar.io related got views. Just look at Rizzmaster in Agar.io! Agar.io new epic trick? Double plus poplet? Same size poplet? Impossible trick! It's basically free money if you make Agar.io content. And that's how the first YouTubers completely dedicated to Agar.io arrived, with the first big one being AgarTube. Created on May 13th, 2015, a day after Teams Mode was added by the way, his content is mainly Agar.io high scores just to flex, trolls with other players to tear my hair off, and tips to get better at the game, with the classic 2015 NCS background music, of course. Because he was the first YouTuber to cover Agar.io in detail, he gained over 300,000 subscribers. But his head start wouldn't make him as iconic as other YouTubers along the way. For the purposes of this video, I am so thankful he made lots of videos in Agar.io's early stages. Too bad it doesn't upload anymore though. While many people made Agar.io videos over the next month, it would take until June of 2015 for the most popular ones to start their channels. You know the deal, here's another list. Miracle, Tygar, Naz, Nopsa, Magaro, Bubble Balls, Agar.io Gamer, Colibri, 11, Sirius, Ward, Smash, Pumba. And the largest for its time,
Jack it up.
The content from a majority of these YouTubers were mostly the same, starting off with the beautiful 3D intro, and of course the normal trolling, high scores, and the thumbnail. Oh my god, that thumbnail! These YouTubers added fuel to the fire of Agar.io's popularity in mid to late 2015, and are a big reason the game didn't die out right after the big YouTubers stopped playing it. They displayed Agar.io's potential for competitive play and grew a community of players who showcased their skill by discovering new tactics to dominate the servers more easily. By 2016, knowing these tactics was a minimum to making it in the leaderboard. So let me show you some of them. It takes exactly 7 Ws to shoot a virus in free-for-all. You can also shoot a virus on the map's walls to make it bounce. If you're far away from a virus, you can shoot on it quicker by spamming W while splitting. If you're super small and trying to dodge a larger player, keep switching directions to throw them off. You need to be at least 33% larger than any cell or virus to consume it. That means you need 133 mass to eat a virus. At around 475 mass, you can get popped by a virus while still having a big central piece. This piece is important since it can be used like a fishing rod to bait players who try and steal your little pieces. Also, viruses provide a bonus 100 mass when eaten, and don't pop you when you're in the max of 16 pieces. So outside of Teams Mode, this is a great way to farm mass. If you're under 100 mass though, you can use viruses as a hiding spot if you're running away from enemies. Generally, small cells can help push big cells, which is especially useful in Teams Mode but can also work on yourself in FFA. If you're only in 2 pieces, you can make one piece rotate around the other by moving your cursor slowly and in a circle around the other cell. You can kill players by merging 2 pieces together, called a merge kill. When you're in 3 or more pieces, you can spam W on one of your pieces to self-feed it. And finally, believe it or not, you can split. Seriously, a lot of old videos show players who are big enough to kill someone and they just don't split. Like, oh my god, bro, are you that bad at this game? Yeah, they are. Anyways, we're almost 2 months into this game since launch. I think it's time for another new game mode. Now, imagine you as a developer of Agar.io, and your game is getting pretty popular. You want to add new features to the game, but don't know whether it'll work with the player base or not. So what do? Experimental Mode. Released on June 11th, 2015, this game mode was added to test out new features in the game without messing with FFA. Over the next few days, more and more changes were added. Firstly, on June 11th, a giant mother cell would spawn in the middle of the map, and it would spit out 10% of the server's food in all directions. This means you'd have a horde of greedy people always at the center of the map to get food from this big guy. I get it. There was also a 5% chance that a virus would be darker and larger than normal viruses. I have no idea what the point of this was, but okay. The mother cell was eventually replaced with spawner cells, which were basically the children of the mother. But more like, your mother! Ah! Kill me. They work the same as mother cells, but spawners are smaller and spawn everywhere. Also, it says on the wiki that on June 12th, players that can't eat each other will collide. Anyways, on June 13th, the colliding feature was removed and another feature was experimented upon. Instead of viruses being duplicated when you eject mass on them, they would be slightly pushed. But after this, no more experiments were added and the game mode would remain the same until today. Well, not the players. Oh no! They discovered something that would completely change the game forever. Now, to be honest, Agario's balancing is pretty good at doing its job. If you're small, you are more vulnerable, but you move faster than other players, making it easy to avoid enemies and gain mass. If you're CASEOH, you're much safer in the map, but you lose mass over time and move much slower, forcing you to split to maintain that mass. However, splitting is not perfect either, since it divides your pieces and makes you vulnerable to larger players. But don't think big players are still safe, since viruses also exist and can easily ruin a good run. I love how Agario unintentionally provides challenge to both the early and late game, keeping you on your toes at all times to prevent a loss. But unfortunately, the game's balancing is completely voided because of one little strategy called working with other players. Let me show you just how easy it is to play with a teammate. So we're currently going back to watching AgarTube, and he's currently in a bit of a pickle. As you can see, the player High is right over him, but he's too small to eat him. If he were playing alone, there's really nothing he could do to remove High unless he moved away. But if you had someone else to help you, no problem. At the bottom left, it's another AgarTube coming to save him. He uses the virus to hit High, and just like that, he has been slain. As you can see, what could have been a real inconvenience was actually no big deal at all because he just had a teammate. In fact, it became so easy to get big with this strategy that players would either call their friends to play together in the same arena, name themselves W=team to offer strangers help to anyone who would eject mass at them, or even just helping random players without asking for it, as if they're just expecting a teammate because of their generosity. Teams mode also got affected by this, as players would cross-team just so they can eat players they originally couldn't. I mean, this AgarTube clip isn't the only one where he is teaming. He has made multiple videos teaming in free-for-all, which definitely popularized this problem. So Zeach, having heard of this issue, made 2 changes to Agario to try and fix this teaming problem. Number 1 was the anti-teaming penalty. Originally called the cheater detection system, it was added in September 2015 to punish players for constantly splitting, ejecting mass, and hitting viruses, as what teams do to quickly gain mass. The more aggressive you play, the more mass you lose, meaning that you're forced to play passively to avoid this penalty. At the time, this was really effective at removing teams, especially because no one outside the Agario subreddit knew of this change. But guess what? This change also had major consequences for the game years later. But for now, let's focus on the more important problem. What if my friends still wanna play with me? Now where would we play? Well, luck is on our side, since the second change would forever transform the essence of Agario. Party mode has got to be the most important game mode added to the game. Even though its only difference with FFA is the lack of the anti-teaming penalty. Added on July 9th, this game mode was meant for players to generate invite links to play with their friends, letting you work with as many people as you want and play as aggressively as you want. But aside from that, party mode increased player skill levels tenfold because this game mode allowed competitive play. You could either work with your friends to win, or try the challenge of getting the #1 spot completely solo, both of which became very popular genres of Agario videos. This unintentionally gave the game esport potential, as players used party mode as a playground to test new strategies to win against other players without the fear of anti-teaming. Oh, and of course, how can you have an esport without the pro players? Well, once again, leave it up to the community to start something way more than just a team. So let's discuss everything that came out of this game mode. Now, in party mode, you would normally see two kinds of players. However, some teamers went one step further by playing with good Agar.io players, all in one group, like some sort of esports team, to dominate the servers and gain popularity in the community. In May 2015, the real Ultra God Gamer testosterone was pumping through the veins of Mystic and Cyplex, thus forming the first Agar.io clan. The goal of NBK was simple: find good players, play together, dominate servers, show it off on YouTube, and gain some clout. To distinguish the members of NBK from others, members had to put an NBK tag on their username. In Agar.io's peak, the clan did really well, with an established YouTube channel showcasing its skills, its new members, and a fidget spinner giveaway, oh my god! Seeing the potential for success online, many more clans were made. But in my opinion, two clans stood out from the rest to complete the holy trinity of Agar.io tryhards. Skipping a few months to around October 2015, Agar.io YouTuber Hero, along with his friends Koji and Haz, started the very unique name of Hero Clan. One fun fact about them is that they once competed against the third and the most popular clan of the trio, Team YouTube, or TYT with the sigh for some reason.
But what?
Created on October 1st, 2015 by Agar.io YouTuber Serious, this clan was different, since there were specific requirements to join, including your subscriber count. In the Agar.io community, these guys were treated as legitimate professional esports teams, each having their own followers and being compared with one another. Well, how about we prove which clan was the best in Clan War, which are basically 4v4 battles between the two clans. First to get all 4 members to the top 4 of a random server wins. And spoiler alert, TYT won every single one except for one. And I mean, even the recruitment video has 100,000 views. Like, guys, you should have been there when these guys were peak on God! Unfortunately, it wouldn't take long for these clans to crumble down. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but a good chunk of players despised clans from the very beginning, since single or duo teams have absolutely no chance on 5 or more people in one clan. And also, remember the anti-teaming penalty? Well, you could easily bypass it by just giving your mass to a teammate who doesn't have the penalty, making it completely useless. And also, since Zeach sold Agar.io, it was now Miniclip's responsibility to fix these issues while keeping clans satisfied. Maybe they could have updated the anti-teaming penalty, added skill-based matchmaking, or even added private servers so these clans wouldn't disrupt anyone. So what did Miniclip do? Absolutely nothing. And as 2016 started rolling around, issues with clans became internal as well. One notable drama was on February 15th, 2016, when the TYT YouTube channel claimed that the Hero clan cheated in their clan wars with extensions or other people substituting as them. What's worse was that the clan owner also received false copyright strikes and phishing links from the clan. Not to mention all the dumb petty beefs, like, ooh, they put pussy next to TYT's name! Eventually, Hero's account was terminated and the reputation of clans dipped even lower and lower, and whoops, they're all dead. But how are these clans doing today? NBK tried to rebrand twice, but it failed. Although Mystic, NBK's founder, is still active, owning the official Agar.io and one other IO Games Discord server. But what's the game I'm talking about? Keep watching to find out, baby! TYT, on the other hand, rebranded as Divine Esports in 2021. And, surprise! It failed. Sirius and Crystal have been inactive since 2022, but it's worth noting that Sirius had an NFT era. And unfollow. Wait a minute. Thumbnail designers for our YouTube channel? Our? Who's R? While clans still exist today in a smaller scale, it's unfortunate that the biggest clans faded away due to a lack of support from Miniclip and other internal dramas. They could have changed people's perception of Agar.io to an actual competitive game, but they're now a shell of their former selves. Add that to the Miniclip fumbles list, thanks. So, is this the end of competitive play? Well, No, since there's still one more competitive sector that came out from party mode. Now, Agar.io in its core is a free-for-all game, but teaming eventually became the meta as people realized how overpowered it was. This caused the average solo player to stand out more since it became almost impossible to play without a teammate or a clan. Agar.io YouTubers that specialized in playing alone skyrocketed in popularity since it was just plain impressive to get #1 on a team-centered game mode. But how hard is it really? Well, let's find out. Here's one of my favorite examples of this from 1-1. And looking at the left, there's another player called Arkango who seems to be ejecting a lot of mass. A few seconds pass and Arkango is feeding this shark player named Tricksplit, thus confirming that they're teaming with each other. Now, 1-1 is playing alone, so how is he going to kill this massive team? Let's continue. The team inevitably splits on 1-1, leaving only one piece left for him. Now, most players would get intimidated by the larger team and try to flee. However, 1-1 actually stays within the team like a pest. He even doubles down by splitting on Arkango to prevent him from feeding Tricksplit, a genius move that prevents them from working together and killing him. A few seconds pass and luck is on 1-1's side. Arkango's teammate is being chased by another player while he accidentally hits a virus. Arkango pops on another virus and is desperately trying to feed his teammate. But things wouldn't go his way since 1-1 is way too close for comfort. In this situation, 1-1 absolutely knows Arkango's desperation, so he does the unthinkable. Instead of mindlessly moving, he splits on Tricksplit knowing that Arkango is trying so hard to feed him. And 3, 2, 1... He did it. A single player defeated a team of 2 using what is now called a pre-split. On the outside, it seems like just one little split, but Agar.io's strategy is not pressing the controls, but knowing when to press them. 1-1 could have split at that team 30 seconds prior, but he knows that Arkango wouldn't split here since his concern is not to feed his teammate, but to just get away from him. Moments like this show just how difficult it is to play alone. One wrong move, one wrong split, and it's over. Which is why YouTubers that could consistently win like this got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So you know what? As someone who was addicted to this kind of content back in 2016, and will discuss much more on this topic as we go on, let me discuss some of my favorite YouTubers from this era.
I don't know, it looks kind of suspect. Could be an imposter. Here's to the ones that we get.
Number 3, Strong. As someone who relentlessly searched for Agar.io tips and tricks, this one video is literally goated. And this dude only has 6,000 subscribers? What? Number 2, Jumbo. If you wanted epic Agar.io gameplays, this was the guy. He wasn't the best in terms of skill, but man, his editing is so iconic. If you think Agar.io YouTubers, this is what you remember. But sad to say that he completely fell off after years of shifting content. And spoiler alert, he has returned to making Agar.io videos. But fun fact, Jumbo's not even the guy playing Agar.io in the new videos. He just hired some dude to do it for him. It's kinda obvious since all the editing he used to do is no longer there. But whatever makes bank, I guess. And number 1, 1-1. Yeah, it's an obvious pick for all the 2015 players. Even with only 65 videos, he got over 500,000 subscribers from pure out-of-this-world skill. Other YouTubers' skill peaked at around late 2016, while this guy was at the same level a whole year earlier. What's even funnier is that the one time he did team was with himself in another tab. Even by today's standards, 1-1 would still be considered a solid player, which is why the majority of early players would call him the GOAT! Wait a minute. I'm currently checking my references and I forgot to watch this video. Huh. Why is this timestamp the most replayed? Let's see what's going on. What? What did he just do? Earlier I mentioned a whole bunch of tactics you could use to get an upper hand in the game. But as Agario got older and older, more and more players learned these tactics, making them obsolete. So we need something better that not only gives us an advantage, but also looks good on a thumbnail for that sweet, sweet ad revenue. What we need are tricks. Now, the word trick has a very vague definition, but for this video, I'll define it as an unconventional split or multiple splits used to trick or outplay an opponent. Tricks were most popularly used in early 2016 during its clan era, but they date back to October 2015, with Japanese and Korean players being the first to use many of the tricks we still use today. Since then, over 50 tricks have been documented. Yes! 50 for a ball game. For simplicity's sake though, here's just the most popular ones. Starting with something easy that you can do yourself, cross-splitting. Although popularized fairly late, it is really useful, allowing you to split in unconventional directions when needed. All you have to do is to split with your cursor positioned near the middle, where each piece ever so slightly goes in the respective directions. Pretty simple. Another easy one is the double split, which is a well-timed double split that makes you go far. I mean, look how easy it is to kill your opponent. The next one is useful but risky. Basically, when you're being chased by someone, split away from them and then quickly feed yourself to trick them into splitting into you. It's definitely a fun one to try, but don't expect a guaranteed win from this. The vanish split is a trick that I discovered from 1-1. When you're in two unequal pieces, lure your opponent near your small piece and a virus, and then split. This split pops your opponent with your small piece and then eats them with your big piece, making them vanish. And fun fact, you can also do an angled and a mini version of the same trick. Pretty cool. Now finally, let me introduce you to the cream of the crop, the trick that every pro player recognizes, the pop split, which involves eating a similarly sized player with one virus and two splits. Alright, it's a little harder than that, since this trick is well known for needing RNGesus to pop your opponent in the correct orientation for your pieces to eat them. Looking back at the failed attempt, you can see why it failed, since the pop pieces didn't align with my split. This is why people would call you a pro if you do this trick, since only pro players would be confident enough to do this in the first place. With this trick being so popular, there's like 300 variations of this trick that I don't want to spend more time on. So let's move on to team tricks. But before that, I found a secret impossible hacker 999 trick never done before. Oh my god, look! Also, I forgot to talk about the line split, but I mean, I think you can already tell what it is. Firstly, imagine that I want to eat this player, but they're too far away. With a teammate, I can easily catch up to them with constant splitting and running, hence the name split running. This technique is useful for catching up to cowards who run away every single time. It's also essential to know this trick to understand how party mode teams went from this to this in only a couple of months. Now, what if my enemy was instead near enough but cannot be eaten with a split? With a teammate, it's actually possible to eat him with a trick split, named such for being the first trick heavily popularized by clans because big split make good thumbnail. It was so good in fact that Sirius and Crystal made a variation of this called the cannon split. Another technical trick, based on my definition, is team baiting, where you bait others into splitting onto you and give them a big surprise afterwards. Definitely not another YouTube cash cow, by the way. With all this mentioned, it's worth noting, however, that Agario's balancing is unintentionally good at countering every single one of these tricks. Double splits can accidentally run into a virus with a limited point of view. Pop splits and vanish splits can fail if the opponent moves 2 inches to the right, and especially just pure luck for pop splits. And trick splits, split running, and baiting can all fail if the opponent can't predict the split or just has better Wi-Fi than you. From late 2016 onwards, countering these team tricks solo became the standard for skill in the Agar.io community. And even if these tricks are impressive, every single one of them still can't stop some random player from feeding someone and ruining everything. As Agar.io got older and older, this balancing problem would get more and more prevalent as the game would shift its updates not on fixes or new content, but before that, it's important to look at the game from the perspective of the Faceless developer himself, Zeach. And I'm betting that many players have never even heard of the guy, since he was only active on Reddit during Agar.io's golden days. Although he sold the game shortly after release, he still took part in development for a few more months. Every update I've mentioned so far were all developed at least under his supervision. But starting around late 2015, it got more and more obvious that Miniclip was calling the shots instead. I originally thought that Zeach left the internet after selling Agar.io and some other IO games, since all of his social media are now deleted or private. But I eventually found that all of his activity has moved to Discord. Almost every IO game he has made has their own Discord server, and he has been extremely active there, talking to members almost daily about fixes, feedback, and even the development of his other IO games, which really helped in researching for this video. Fun fact, he knows about CASEOH playing the game, which is a crossover that I didn't expect, not gonna lie. Also, I found an image which I'm pretty sure shows his new Reddit account. It's genuinely comforting how active he's been, since it shows his desire to prioritize his community instead, completely contrasting what would happen with Agar.io under Miniclip. After their acquisition of Agar.io, not much was done to the game by Miniclip until July 7th, 2015 with Agar.io Mobile. Though it was initially similar to the PC version, aside from this one bug, its current state may as well be a completely different game, with a vastly different physics engine, advanced settings, and even new game modes to replace experimental and teams mode. And trust me, you'll be disappointed. Burst mode is literally just free-for-all, but you can hold the eject button instead of spam tapping it. Rush mode is literally just FFA, but you have 5 minutes to become the biggest player in the server for a reward. And relax mode is literally just FFA, but with bots instead of real players that somehow gain mass out of nowhere? What? Oh, and don't forget the ads, and ads! Ew! With Agar.io Mobile also having no anti-teaming penalty in any game mode, of course it would have its own community which prefer this style of the game. While I won't cover it in detail, all I'll say is that tricks are possible in mobile, and Sarak, you're one of my favorite players, but what the hell are those skins, dog? Even to this day, Agar.io's PC version is still advertising the mobile version. Like, okay, I get it, the game was on House of Cards, I get it! They even made the official Agar.io YouTube channel the same day the app was released. Well, I guess the advertising worked, since it has over 100 million downloads now. But if you thought this was already annoying, you have no idea the lengths this company would go to clip some more money. Clip.
Yo, watch out. We're not getting wrecked by no fucking level 12. No!
Previously, the game just used ads to keep the site running, but come on, that's lame! So around Halloween 2015, Agar.io introduced the account system, which lets you collect coins, obtain a bunch of new items, play on multiple devices, and brag that stat screen. But here's the thing. Included with the game's new collectibles were mass boosts, XP boosts, and skins. And not the skins I mentioned earlier, since these skins could be used with any name.
In life you have roadblocks.
There were two types of skins added with this. The XP skins, with the infamous Kraken skin for level 100, and the coin skin. You got Mercury, Venus, Uranus, Banana, Alien, and the ability to become invisible. Kinda. Don't have enough coins? Why not buy 125,000 for only $99.99? That's enough to buy 255.102041 hour-long triple mass boosts, allowing you to spawn with just enough mass to eat a virus. Now that the game has these permanent skins, why not squeeze the cash cow a little more with limited time offers?
They added a lot of like, there's a lot of microtransactions now, and that's unfortunate, but you know, I guess they wanted to make more money and...
Oh my god, we're not even done.
I should get the leprechaun just because that would be something identifiable and it's something that not everyone would be able to get. But I don't have enough coins.
Mark!
Oh, but then I'd have to spend money. Ugh.
Don't do it!
Alright. No one do this! No one do what I'm about to do. I'm doing this for the sake of doing this. And also, I should... Okay, so I did something incredibly stupid and I actually...
I guess I'll disrespect to them though. Agar.io is still in a good state, mostly. The game is still popular, and now it's causing a cultural phenomenon called inspiration. Without a doubt, Agar.io's biggest impact to the internet was the introduction of the IO genre, starting with arguably the most famous one of them all,
Slowteamers.
Released on March 25, 2016 by developer Steve House, the game spawns you as a little snake guy that you can control with your cursor and gain mass by eating pellets or snakes that have rammed into you. Just try not to ram yourself into others though. The only other control is holding left click to slither a little faster, helping you chase others and reach the leaderboard in exchange for some mass. Along with skins and player-made tactics in this free, browser-based MMO, this game checks all the boxes for what an IO game would be. While Agar.io got that mobile game and one video with 50 million views, Slither.io got Toys R Us plushies, 4 videos with over 100 million views, and creepypasta?
I could feel the snakes were all around me.
What?
And as you hit the border, you don't actually die. A secret tunnel is revealed.
No way! Oh my god! It's definitely fake, but you know, whatever. This is so scary, like the time I found a scary Luigi at 3 AM. Despite all that, the game wouldn't have any updates, new game modes, or even server fixes since the game remained almost unplayable for years. Even if it was more popular, the popularity spike of Slither.io barely lasted compared to Agar.io. Fortunately, they did return in August 2024 and fix the servers, but nothing else came out of that. Not gonna lie guys, I think they should have added a snake shop that lets you buy snake coins for $99.99. But checking back on Zeach, he finally made a new IO game after selling Agar.io under the name...
Hey, what's going on dudes? It's Pat and today we are playing DPO.
Yep, the guy who made Agar.io also made this. Released on April 16th, 2016, the game spawns you as a little tank guy doing the exact same thing as in other IO games, but there is a leveling system to use and upgrades, and every 15 levels lets you upgrade your tank. Aside from FFA, DPO has many other game modes. 2 teams and 4 teams are obvious, Maze is just FFA but with some obstacles, Sandbox is basically creative mode, and the last game mode rotates between Tag, Teams mode but with a big central tank, Capture the Flag, and a tile-based turf war. The last one only being added in September 2024, ever since Mystic and his gang bought the game. Yep, he's back. Although DPO has more complex gameplay, its peak still couldn't rival Agar.io's explosion. But surprisingly, the game still has a modestly active community and Discord. After DPO, the same cycle continued for future games. Game gets popular, game gets like 2 updates, game dies, and new game takes over. There's a bunch of games that the wiki added to their IO games list, and I will talk about Zeach's other IO games later in the video, but let's talk more on my favorite one of these, SquidGames.io. God, there's just so much to talk about with this amazing game. You just don't know the details, but trust me, this game is fucking fantastic! Damn! It's dinner time already? I didn't even talk about Agar.io's downfall yet. Oh well, I am hungry anyway. Now, what should I watch next? Oh! On the topic of IO games, I remember saving this video in my watch later list a few months ago. Can't hate on my boy Terror though, so I guess it's a good time to check it out.
If you've been on the internet for a while, you may remember this disturbing Slither.io video.
Scary!
What exactly is a .io game? IO can also stand for input-output, which makes the domain preferable.
Garden of Ban.
Let's take a closer look at some of these games, starting with the originator of this trend, agar.io.
Agario. It's not agar.io. Come on.
But all this success led to an even bigger game 1 year later.
Hey, that's it? That's it? That's all this game gets? I mean, did he just completely forget about the eject mask though? For a video that is 8 minutes, I'm okay not talking about any of the game modes or the community, just stick with the base game, but you should have talked about the viruses and ejecting masks because those are important aspects of the game too.
Slither.io is the first game you think of when .io games are brought up.
No, ain't no way, bruh. Agario, my goat, bruh.
While Agario gives the bigger circle an automatic win over a smaller one,
yes, but you have viruses, so it's not completely one-sided.
Slither, it's technically possible for the smallest snake on the map to beat the biggest. Bigger snakes are able to circle smaller ones, slowly tightening until the smaller snake has no other choice but to accidentally bump into you.
I'll have to say, Slitherio got some really smooth gameplay. If you get to kill a big player yourself, it feels so satisfying. And my favorite part of seeing pro players play this game is when you get them to squeeze between two snakes and you really get to see their hitboxes because oh my god, how does he even fit in there? I don't know. I'm not as knowledgeable on Slitherio as Agario because it's not the topic of this video, but I know there's a big community for this game.
But to be honest, I remember watching videos about it more than I actually remember playing it at school.
Fair enough.
Deep.io is a more advanced take on the classic formula.
Yep, the newer the games, the more complex they are. But the thing I find charming about IO games is that they're meant to be simple, though complex in their own way. At the end he talks about Crunker and Survive.io, but I don't consider them really to be IO games. Especially you, Crunker. You're literally just an FPS game. You're not an IO game. Come on, you're not an IO game.
You have to delete shapes and other players to level up. And every level you get a point, to allow you to buff your damage, speed, reloading, and more. Like these homing shots that follow the mouse.
I hate these stupid homing shots, dude. This thing, absolutely lethal. Company. If you have a class that has these guys, GG.
Another thing that really makes this game stand out is the use of different game modes.
Oh hell nah, body dick. Agario has 5. Technically, 5 different game modes.
Expanding on these ideas, Survive.io is yet another shooter. Being a 2D reimagining of PUBG, it follows the ever-popular 2017 formula of the Battle Royale. But unlike
it's literally just a Battle Royale but 2D. Do I consider it an IO game? Okay. The first 3 are definitely IO games. Like, it's obvious. Simple graphics, 2D movement, MMO, IO game. But Survive is really the gray line here because it's literally just PUBG, Fortnite kind of gameplay, but it's 2D and simple graphics. Crunker, I do not consider at all. This, I don't know. Up to you guys in the comments.
How do we expand from a 2D, decently open world Battle Royale? What about a 3D shooter? Crunker.io isn't the kind of game you usually think of when mentioning the term .io game.
Yeah, exactly. People only say it's an IO game because it has the IO, domain. If you consider Crunker to be an IO game, I can consider Scribble to be an IO game. All I do know is that this game is featured on Discord's activities tab. So also I can't even load the fucking thing. I'll join talk and let's go start Crunker Strike. Fervor. Whoa, it's literally Crunker. If you consider this to be an IO game, I don't know what to tell you. Hey, get out of here.
There's not an extreme punishment for dying, and you don't get an advantage for staying alive. Because mechanically, this isn't a .io game.
Boom! Let's go! Terror, my goat! Speaking facts.
When you hop into a lobby, the first thing you'll notice is just how sweaty some of these players are.
But here's the thing, that's not exclusive to Krunker. Even in Agar.io, dude. Bro, Agar.io got some of the sweatiest people out there, man. I'm not even joking.
Like this being a free online browser game, some people still put down hundreds of hours on it.
Yeah, hundreds of hours on a browser game. At the time of recording, I have 3,900 games played on Agar.io. Fuck. Okay, update. The number has risen to 4,477. I am not insane. I am not insane. I am not insane.
And it even carries the hallmark of .io games. The fact you can play it on a lower level machine in the middle of class. This game gives off the same vibes as something like Roblox Arsenal. Guns kill fast and you respawn fast, leading to high speed.
You know what? Fair enough. Look, if you consider IO game to be an online game that you can play in the middle of class, then fine.
While Slither.io isn't the big thing anymore, it's expanded into something far, far greater. A legacy that usually isn't saved for little browser games.
Nice! Okay, final thoughts. Good video. It was a good retrospective on IO games. Very short video, but very meaningful. I like that he progressed from freaking Agar.io all the way into Krunker, which is probably the most popular IO game now. But, of course, with the Agar.io part, I have some issues because, of course, I am the most knowledgeable in that IO game. First of all, he misses out on W ejecting. Right? And second, he just misses out that Agar.io has other game modes too. Now, I think what else could be missing is the reason why these IO games have fallen. You could say that these games have fallen because these are trendsetter games. But here's the thing. Yes, many games have fallen because they were just trends, but some of the fault has to be for the devs too, right? It's not like the devs of Slither.io or Agar.io couldn't do anything to fix their failing game, but the game failed. A portion of the game's fall is because it was a trend game. But I would say an even bigger portion of these games have failed because of its development. But good video, Terror. Thanks for the entertainment as I already finished my beast burger. That'll be the last time I'll have some joy for a while, as it's finally time to explore the depths of Agar.io's downfall. Personally, Agar.io's golden age ended right after other IO games were released and stole its mainstream spotlight. From mid-2016 to mid-2018 is what I call the falloff era. A 2-year-long stretch of no content updates aside from some small UI changes, causing major issues to permeate the game and the vast majority of the community to quit. So let's start off with the long overdue anti-teaming system. Earlier, I touched on this system and its effectiveness at stopping teamers in free-for-all and experimental mode. However, as months went by without any updates, players realized that the anti-teaming system doesn't actually punish teaming itself. It only punishes excessive splitting, ejecting, and virusing within 60 seconds. So if you just teamed while doing these 3 things slowly, teaming would still be possible and would still break the game entirely. And thus, Slowteamers were born. Unlike aggressive party mode teamers, Slowteamers purely depend on virus farming, baiting players to split into them, and sometimes just asking random players to help them. Totally not the most rage-inducing experience of all time, by the way. Now, with an absolutely broken strategy, how much more broken would it be if you turned Slowteamers to Slowteamer clans? Yeah, you know what's gonna happen. Around the time big YouTube clans ended was the time small Slowteamer clans started. Announcing server invasions in their Discord server, clans like Kai, MK, Sun, ZS, TW, and JP would take over in like half an hour because there's like 6 of them in one team. I'd like to give a special mention to East Asian clans because they played with almost the entire server in one team. After the quick takeover, the clans would get so comfy that they just wander around or even AFK the rest of the game just to farm experience. Agar.io's initial charm was the volatility of the leaderboard. But with players slow teaming, the leaderboard became one big snore since they could just sit comfortably up there for hours on end. Even Teams mode was affected by this due to cross-teaming, making almost the entire game unfun for most people. Miniclip didn't help the situation either, since they eventually added an update that lets Facebook friends find each other on free-for-all. How did we go from Zeach calling teamers cheaters to this? I don't know. This makes party mode the only unaffected game mode since it had always been a Sweatlord hub anyway. Well, unfortunately, that wouldn't last long either since an exploit that was supposedly patched in early 2016 came back to plague the game once again. And yes, I'm talking about... Honestly, I'm surprised it took me this long to talk about bots, but I figured to talk about everything regarding them in one big section. Ever since Agario's launch, players have wanted a faster way to gain mass, since it often took hours of gameplay just for them to reach around 5 to 15,000 mass. So it was inevitable for someone to make an extension that lets players have bots join the server just to be eaten. Unfortunately, the free extension only gave 4 bots with 10 mass each, barely making a difference. Realizing the business potential of this, it was about time for bots to become a paid service instead. Around October 2015, agarbots.net was launched, letting you have up to 200 bots for only 25 euros. Of course, your average Agario 11-year-old couldn't afford the money or the complicated setup. I mean, even this 3-minute tutorial wasn't enough to help them. Even if bots gave everyone free mass since they just moved in straight lines to the bot user, players didn't like having to exchange free mass for a complete advantage for one player and almost unplayable amounts of lag.
This is why I can't play Agario. I'm in 2nd place on the leaderboard and I'm just like winning and just my computer freezes. Like I'm probably dead now.
This led the entire community to beg players to stop using bots, some ways more creative than others. Agreed. Ooh, yikes. That didn't age well. Eventually, probably because the bots were earning money out of Miniclip, they finally fixed the issue 4 months later by adding a CAPTCHA for every game played. The CAPTCHA was too easy to bypass though, so in response, they then made the CAPTCHA way too hard, preventing you from even playing the game. When someone reported this issue, Miniclip said that the CAPTCHA means that you have a suspicious IP. What's funny was that while bots made servers almost unplayable, even the base game for the longest time had pretty bad lag issues as well, which was the primary concern of the community. Here's an official YouTube stream in March 2016. My first observation was, wow, why does he suck? And wow, that is some choppy gameplay. The stream did announce the addition of the graphics tab. But if there are tutorials on reducing lag on a 2D ball game with over 100,000 views, I don't think the lag was a hardware problem. Also, after a year-long cat and mouse game between bot developers and Miniclip developers, Miniclip eventually gave up the fight and new bot services have replaced them. Popularized starting around 2017, these new services were a direct upgrade, costing almost the same while giving each bot 132 mass instead of just 10, and allowing you to team with your bots using hotkeys. Also, these bots were now programmed to avoid players who didn't pay for the services, incentivizing others to buy their own bots. You can just see how stupid broken these guys are, since servers became wastelands once the bot users would leave. And if the bot user also decides to be a slow teamer, don't even join the server at that point. You might be wondering how these bots even have triple mass boosts anyway. Well, pretty much sketchy terms and conditions. Using these bot services also allows them to release your personal information and lets them use your Agario account as a bot for other users at any time, which immediately buys triple mass boosts with your coins. While the old bots were still liked as everyone got free mass, these new era bots were especially hated as they only benefit the buyer. And not to mention that these guys also have YouTube channels where they flex that they got #1 in a server with both bots and a macro. And while all these issues kept getting worse and ruining the game, Miniclip ultimately decided to add even more microtransactions to the game. One thing I can say about Miniclip is how badly out of touch they are with their community. It took 6 months after the game's launch before any videos were uploaded to their YouTube channel, with videos that are mostly re-uploads of other people's Agario videos and live streams that show that Miniclip staff clearly do not know how to play their own game. And instead of providing opportunities to the game's best players, they mostly ignored them and added unwanted features instead. In December 2016, Miniclip instead removed support for extensions and added mystery skins, DNA, potions, daily quests, and weekly leaderboards to the mobile version. Not sure why it took a whole year before they got added to PC, but it doesn't matter too much since they changed nothing in gameplay and were only added for more money anyway. To understand all this, let me try my best to explain this shit show. We can start with weekly leaderboards, which are based on a number of trophies collected every week. Trophies are collected from potions, which are given after each death and range from common to mythical. When given a potion, they can be brewed to give coins, trophies, and skin pieces, which are collected to give cool animations to existing skins. However, potions have a long waiting time, which you can skip using DNA, which you can also use to buy instantly open potions and make custom skins.
Flint and steel, chick and jockey, I am
This whole complex system is all made to collect DNA. But DNA itself is only given from weekly leaderboards or just straight cash, baby. The thing is, the DNA that's given from leaderboards is nothing compared to the DNA you could just buy. Hell, I grinded DNA for 6 months and only have around 1700, which I could double for like 20 bucks, which is also the money I earned from this video. Interesting. Also, the weekly leaderboards are directly pay to win since potion timers limit the maximum trophies you could theoretically achieve to 600, while many at the top of the leaderboards have double or triple that amount. So if you're only getting DNA from the leaderboard, but everyone in the leaderboard paid their way there, it's basically impossible to get any DNA at all. And as a side note, let me ask you, Miniclip, why do you guys even give DNA from daily quests, bro? What am I gonna do with 1 DNA per day? This is why players have since called Miniclip Moneyclip. Because why would we need all of this instead of actual content updates? It's not like they're unaware of this, since they were exposed in October 2016 for stealing Reddit clips without credit. Reddit clips that existed on the same subreddit as the hundreds of hate messages given to Miniclip since a whole year prior. It is clear from late 2016 onwards that Miniclip was actively avoiding their community to double down on microtransactions and keep their barely working servers alive. Unlike many other trend-like games, Agario lasted a lot longer in its prime because of its community. But Miniclip actively disregarding that community is what ultimately led to a huge wave of players leaving. Some of the biggest players either switched content, stopped uploading, or straight out deleted their channels. A weirdly common theme that you will see with Agario YouTubers. However, while most of the community left starting 2017, a small minority decided to keep playing Agario. So let's see how they continued the game's legacy. Though slow teaming definitely made the game much worse, there was one benefit to the slow teamer takeover, and it was the YouTube content that came from it. While Agario was still mainstream, content surrounding it was mostly clickbait garbage with a small bit of professional gameplay. But as other games took its place, the only YouTubers left prioritized skill over ad revenue. As 2017 started rolling around, free-for-all and experimental videos became the meta as defeating Slowteamers became more common. Let me just say that was absolutely disgusting. As you can see, in this era, the tricks that used to be exclusive to party mode became commonplace in free-for-all and experimental, as people learned how to use tricks while bypassing the anti-teaming system, which definitely helped players defeat Slowteamers much easier. However, not every YouTuber that kept playing wanted the original game, as Agar.io fan games such as Senpai.io, Dota.io, and Cells.io started gaining traction as well, since those games fixed the issues that Miniclip failed to solve. Want free macro? Instant merging? Absolute insanity? Try these games instead, as they show how small gameplay tweaks completely change how the game is played. And as a side note, rest in peace to Agar.io Hub. I made a bunch of videos on that game, and I'll miss that fan game dearly. However, these games and their communities were way too niche to gain enough popularity to change the game's dying state. Needless to say, this era without major content updates still had diamonds in the rough for solo players. So let's have another round of solo goats.
I don't know, it looks kind of suspect. Could be an imposter. Here's to the ones that we get.
Number 3, Upside Down. Upside Down is a pretty underrated player from mid-2016 to mid-2018 for his very aggressive style of gameplay against Slowteamers, where his signature strategy is to virus the hell out of them to defeat them with anti-teaming instead. A smart strategy, but with mixed results. Nevertheless, definitely an innovator in the new meta. Number 2, Smash. Smash is a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers who uploaded a lot of high skill videos until 2018, when he started playing a certain other game instead until this day. As a YouTuber I heavily watched back then, I certainly have a bias for him over other great players. However, someone who no one can argue about is my pick for number 1, Starshove. A pretty easy number 1 spot for someone that people thought was 1-1's alt account, even if he only has 6 videos. But don't underestimate him for that, since these 6 videos have some of the most legendary clips, especially for 2016 to 17, containing difficult virus shots, a 100,000 score game, and even usage of Agar.io's auto-splitting mechanic 3 to 5 years before everyone else. Not to mention him destroying teams in places no one expected, and the one time he killed 7 teams in one game. Seven teams in one game, and can still be compared to the best of today's era even if he last uploaded in April 2017. And now, let's move on to the game's first gameplay update in almost 3 years. In my opinion, I'd like to call the next era of the game the Desperation era, which took place starting around May 2018 until around late 2020, as the game finally released some gameplay updates at this time. For these 2.5 years, the game's meta barely changed and was mainly focused on playing new game modes and improving the use of tricks in the old ones. So let's first focus on the first new game mode added in almost 3 years, Battle Royale. Yeah, I'm not even joking. Added on May 21st, 2018, and took a whole year to release on mobile for some reason, I don't think there is much to be said about this. It was a game mode released to piggyback on Fortnite Battle Royale's success. But just in case you want some more info, Agar.io Battle Royale, similar to other Battle Royale games, starts with up to 50 players spawning and eating pellets, viruses, and other players while the map slowly shrinks in size. Anyone who touches the outside region is popped and has extreme anti-teaming. The last player who survives wins and gets an exclusive battle potion containing coins, skin pieces, and trophies. As a concept, this game mode isn't too bad, but did it save Agar.io from irrelevancy? Well, it did make a small bump in the graph, but this had little impact to solving the game's long term and actually fixing the game's issues. First and foremost, the first 2 to 4 minutes of gameplay is just... and being lucky you're right next to a spawner cell. And after you gain enough mass, you still have to deal with potential Slowteamers or even bots, as the game mode didn't even consider solving any previously mentioned issues. Also, this one strategy of feeding your mass to a spawner cell is absolutely broken, and it hasn't been fixed since its release 7 years ago. But remember that this is the first major update in 3 years, so I think there's bigger things to blame this game mode's failure on. Fortnite had many updates since its release, and even then you have people saying that Fortnite is dying. So Miniclip, update your damn game if you want your player base to come back. And I don't mean updating your microtransactions for the 300th time. Like adding a battle pass to mobile, like what? And look, it isn't fair to compare Fortnite and fucking Agar.io, but they could have made this game mode a little more competitive, like starting with 500 mass, doubling the virus count, adding duos or squads or friend groups, or, hear me out, sprinting just like in Slither.io. Just something to make this game more fast-paced. But I guess we can't all have nice things and just have to stick with the clickbait thumbnails on the currently dead game mode. And surprise! Here comes another one. Only a few months after Battle Royale released, it was already hard to even get a match started. So the rest of 2018 was another year dead in the water, aside from some more changes to the UI.
I could be doing anything, but no! Oh my god, no!
So in May 2019, Teams Mode was revamped into New Teams Mode, which sounds exciting, but is pretty much a carbon copy of Battle Royale. For context, out of the 4 original game modes, Teams Mode has always been the least played, since its gameplay is completely different from the other 3. Although there is a community that centers around Teams Mode, the community is way too small to be considered. The game mode requires at least 20 players and puts you in either Team Red or Team Blue. Once the game begins, both teams have 5 minutes to collect mass and kill each other. Once a team kills every player in the other team, or has more overall mass after the timer ends, they are declared the winner and get potions as rewards. But like, this is just straight up Battle Royale, but even more boring. Damn. This New Teams mode was so unpopular that this gameplay video is the only one I could find of this game mode across YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter. The community fought hard to revert the game mode, with a petition against it having 300 backers. And fortunately, the game mode was reverted back to the old Teams mode by September 10th, 2019. The 1 in 1,000 chance I can say W Miniclip. Too bad the Teams mode players already moved to Rugar DE, but you know, let's check on the general community during this era. After the 2 disastrous game modes, I mentioned that the community only focused on improving their skills to defeat Slowteamers because yes, even Slowteamers can improve from absolute garbage to somewhat reasonable. This made Era 3 especially noteworthy for the use of tricks outside of party mode. Even with the boring game modes, this era was kind of a second golden age for the game, as it gave rise to some of my favorite players of all time. With many having under 10,000 subscribers, I felt special being able to witness such talent in this game. With clans gone, this community of solo players, now under the newly made solo community Discord server, and the handful of YouTubers left, kept the game alive, even for the few players who remained. However, like in Era 2, a lot of these YouTubers also deleted their channels when they also got tired of the game. Every 8-minute highlight compilation that's on YouTube took 8 days of gameplay, since Slowteamers always have the advantage, no matter how good your skills are. And when teamers recognize you, they often target you and do any means necessary to kill you. And what can you do? Ask Miniclip to fix it? Good luck with that. So, for every 10 players that make videos on the game, only 1 or 2 actually remain to play until the next era of the game. So in memory of everyone who quit, let's have round 3 of...
I don't know, looks kind of suspect. Could be an imposter.
You may have noticed that the gap between this GOAT list and the previous GOAT list is a lot shorter. And it's because everything I said for Era 2 stayed pretty much the same for Era 3. The new game modes did absolutely nothing to fix the game, and the community that remained had nothing to do but to improve their skills. So let's begin. Number 3, No Fear. I already knew who to put for number 2 and number 1, but finding a third place was genuinely difficult since there are so many good players I could have picked. However, I picked No Fear as my third spot not only for his collection of great videos at the time, but also for making corpse compilations right after quitting.
Well, the game's over.
Toast.
Okay, for real though, Pro Fear has some real good moments, and I hope one day he'll come back. Please come back. Number 2, Colibri. If you didn't notice, I used a ton of this guy's footage in the last few segments since Colibri has been the Agario YouTuber since every other big one left. I understand some people's frustrations with stretching out unimpressive clips to reach the 8-minute mark.
Like, these are not entertaining at all. It's like just gameplays, like...
But that's just part of the YouTube grind. Also, while he made videos before and after Era 3, I genuinely believe that this era was him at his best. I watched this clip 20 times and I still don't understand how that's even possible. And number 1, Kadal. There is no denying that Kadal is the greatest player of 2019. Although he deleted his channel in 2020, almost everyone back then not just agreed on the GOAT, but on the frog. He consistently found ways to destroy teams in his path and has one of the most iconic double splits of all time. And that's how an emoji became an absolute Agario icon. And fun fact, he has a funny cameo in a Pumba video and was once part of the TYT clan during its 2020 return. Wonder where that went. To whoever is still watching this video, go to the comments below and comment #WeMissKadal for a heart because God I miss him dearly, man. These archives just don't hit the same. Anyways, it is currently Halloween 2024 at the time of writing this script, which means I gotta get a little scared today. Don't worry guys, there is nothing scarier than watching my old Agario video! There we go. There we go.
Hello, Mr. Window.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, well, I guess I can show you some other skins. Well, let me just die. Okay.
I wonder who that is.
And they're useless? Okay,
what
well.
The fuck is this, oh, I didn't mean to.
Oh no.
I didn't mean to click that.
Just wait for it now. Wait for it. Let's see if it's good. Yeah, okay. Let's see this. Oh.
Boredom battle.
What is that?
Wait, I actually want to check out what happens in this video. Agario, uncut and boring. Huh, I wonder.
Oh god. Well, let's hope it's not a boring.
Bandicam, activate Windows.
Oh my.
That's how you know it's good.
No way.
Oh my god.
Man, this song is fire on 2-speed. They're not gonna lie. Like,
Uh-oh. No! I'm in the corner. What am I doing?
Oh.
Oh, I died.
Nah.
Look,
Okay.
even back on the old days, look at this leaderboard.
That's 1 out of 31. I have 31. I don't even know how I managed to make so many.
Oh, copyright on one of them. I saw that.
Wait. Oh. Wait. There we go.
Oh
Yep.
shit. Yeah. There's a couple of them that have copyrights. Wow.
It doesn't matter because these videos don't even make money anyway. Oh, he hates me now.
What are you
Apparently, he hates me.
What do you think? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Hey. Oh, what? Okay.
Oh, I had to check.
Oh. I gotta check.
Agario have destroying teams. No way.
Okay, destroying teams. Let's see this.
I
Oh,
am the
it's
real
like a.
no mask for you. Smiley face.
It's a bit short.
It's only 2 minutes.
Okay. We have to advertise.
Okay, this is.
What? What was that?
We have to like advertise.
Okay, this is
the
around
Bandicam,
94, so
yeah,
today
first.
we do stuff, but this is just an intro. I know it's bad, but whatever. Anyways, hope you enjoy.
Okay. Oh.
It cut
Oh
out.
my God. There.
Oh, I just wait.
What?
No,
What just
no.
happened? What?
Oh,
What
no.
is that?
It
How
cut.
are your
No.
How are your past videos better than this? What is going on?
No, what is this quality? This is the highest one. We're going seconds for Prime and this one.
What is going on right now?
It's
I'm
so
lost.
loud.
I'm lost, honestly.
Oh, this music, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Destroying
that was
teams,
easy.
yeah.
Wow,
Oh, are you saying that this is not a boring gameplay? It's actually a compilation. Okay.
Yeah, you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice video quality for good clips, I guess. I don't know.
I'm learning to edit videos, so maybe.
Yeah, I'm
I can
learning.
edit videos professionally. Anyways.
Yeah, I can see that you were learning. Yeah.
AI voice?
It's fucking text to speech. Wait,
Damn.
I need to hear
So
it.
I know this is a bad video, but
Wait, why did I cut it like right before?
You cut before you cut before you killed them.
So I know
No,
this is.
Come on, are you
cut,
serious?
no,
No, my God.
Anyways, thanks for watching and good.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
And good.
Agario good or bad? 3 random clips. Wait, Agario good or bad? Bad. Okay.
Yeah. It just says back. Wait, is that like a watermark in the thumbnail? Cam stock. My goodness. Okay.
Okay, I just want to say
I'm
that I
British
am
now.
sorry for the Destroying Teams video because it was a god-awful video.
I was right.
Damn, roasting yourself.
Hope you enjoy.
Let's
Why-
go, Whirow. We're
Why
gonna
did
enjoy
the
this one. We're gonna
resolution
enjoy it.
change? The resolution is messed up, but at least it's 60 FPS. Huh?
Wait, what the hell's happening?
What-
Wait.
What is that? What?
It just became. Wait, there's like a green gas leaking out of it. I think it sounds like vomiting or something. What was that? Oh, it froze.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay. I love
okay,
lag.
alright, well.
I love lag.
Wait, that was it. The video cannot be this short for me right
Why
now.
is there a
What
big
should I
fat
do?
like Bandicam like?
Oh, the reason is this is because I did not know how to make a scene. So what I did is I just recorded myself over freaking like PowerPoint presentation that's black, and then play text to speech on another tab. That's why the Bandicam's so freaking big. I zoomed in.
I have this other clip that I'll use to make this video longer.
Oh, we're normal Agario now. It's not happening. There's no way. Please.
If you get this, I'm out. If you get this, I'm out.
There's a guy down there too. No. There's so many people.
Epic music?
man.
Epic music?
Oh, it's no.
I
No. No.
Leave.
Oh.
Oh.
No.
So the
Oh,
video is
and there
done.
we
I
go.
hope that this video was an apology to the last video anyways. See you on the next one.
Oh, I made this video.
I mean, it was a good apology, but like, you know, it could have been a better apology. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
How do I make it better, huh?
Epic thumbnail, by the way. I had this. I had
know,
to say
right?
epic thumbnail. You know. Look at that.
You see these lines?
Yeah. Shout out to your mouse, dude. Hey, shout out to your mouse. Look at that. Like it's there twice. Look at that.
Wait, I need to see that. Wait, what happened there?
What?
Samsung Galaxy J2 Prime. These thumbnails,
Wait,
man.
I saw the wait, like in the description. Wait, hold on. Mwahaha, I'm not a noob, you know. And that was a first try experience, and I play a lot off camera.
Imagine I have no freaking life. Okay. Oh.
What? Is this gonna be for every clip, dude? No, come on, please don't tell me it's gonna be for every clip like that.
It's better than the 144p. Wait, what?
Hey, Mr. 94.
What?
Mr.
What am I doing? I'm throwing. I'm throwing so hard. Oh. Okay.
Oh wait. Oh, he threw. Why? And like these like con guys, yeah.
Oh.
What the fuck? Oh, okay.
Extra guys. Extra.
What? Wait.
What is going? Or a communist, right? I can't even speak English.
Why? Wait, do you hear that?
Yeah, where is a communist? What's? Is a bomb about to take off? What the hell? Yeah, Pops, let's go.
Wait. I look like a bot since it's very laggy, lol. Exactly, lol.
Yeah, that was a fun, fun thing to do right there.
It was really annoying, but it was fun. Oh my.
It was like, you know, it was annoying me, right? Like, you know, I was cringing, but okay, like, you know, we survived.
Oh, by the way, check out the card on the top right if you want to watch the old videos for yourself. So we can now move on to Era 4. Another day, another era to waste my sanity on. This time I'm calling this the Acceptance Era, which lasted around 2020 until the big announcement came in June 2023. But we'll get to that later. As a new decade began, more and more players slowly accepted that Miniclip doesn't give too many shits about the game. Want more proof of this? Miniclip started the decade on a high note by warning players for using extensions and stealing skins, among other things.
Despite warnings, some players continue to hack and steal skins. You will be investigated, and if you're found guilty, then your account will be removed permanently.
Guess they'll finally take action when it threatens their source of income. The few players who remain playing in Era 4 are now used to Slowteamers being in every server, leading to even more tactics being discovered just to gain an advantage. Because of this, 3 words primarily defined Era 4: multi-boxers, bots, and auto-splits. And we're starting off strong, with players who decided that teaming with themselves was more effective than actually getting friends. In all seriousness, this started way back in 2015 when 1-1 got the #1 spot by controlling 2 cells at once by constantly alt-tabbing. This was just a stunt done by the greatest player of all time. Twice. But there's no way this could become a viable strategy, right? Oh, it can! While alt-tabbing between 2 cells is highly disadvantageous because of map mirroring and accidentally ramming into other players, extensions such as Delta, introduced in 2020, fixes all this by removing map mirroring and letting you multi-box with just 1 tab. The extension also adds a ton of helpful hotkeys, turning the practice from plain gimmicky to absolutely unfair because of how easy it now is to do trick splits that are basically impossible to counter, even with the anti-teaming penalty. And don't get me started with party mode, which is basically the multi-boxer game mode now. And if you combine this with bots... Speaking of bots, the previously mentioned new bots have since become as common as Slowteamers in this era. And remember that they can avoid other players, give stupid amounts of mass, and can be controlled with a macro. Very fun game, you know? That's very fun, you know? It's even more obvious Miniclip completely gave up the fight when even Mystic bought them in multiple servers at one point just to advertise his Instagram. So thanks Mystic for the free mass. Even if this leads to yet another niche feature, turning from pretty uncommon to absolutely necessary understanding. In case you don't know, in desktop Agario, getting at least 22,500 mass would automatically split your cell. seems pretty conventional, especially when this doesn't exist in mobile. But there is lots of nuance to this feature that was first shown with Starshove. Remember when he ate an opponent's piece by feeding his own piece? Well, remember that 22,500 mass would auto-split you into 2 smaller pieces. So Starshove intentionally fed that smaller piece to get his opponent's piece over that limit, so his piece would eat the 2 smaller pieces that came from the auto-split. Here's me recreating this trick in case you had any doubts, by the way. But remember that bots can give multiple players over 100,000 mass in a single server. So new tricks and tactics are needed to survive when you're that damn fat. Let's start another Agar.io game to see what we'll be dealing with. The first thing you may notice when playing in Era 4 is the insane number of bots. In the early game, chasing these bots to a corner or a virus is best to get some free mass. At around the 350 mark, you can start splitting on these bots to get mass much quicker. And if you're lucky, you may find bots grouped up in one place to allow a very satisfying split. After some more conventional kills and a bit of luck to get on the leaderboard, you may encounter either a botter or a multi-boxer at the number 1 spot. If it's a multi-boxer, the strategy highly depends on if they are able to do tricks or not. While most are just slightly better than Slowteamers, the worst possible scenario is if they're able to do frame-perfect trick splits and cannon splits. In this case, one image in the solo community Discord sums it up perfectly. When multi-boxers are about to trick on you, they usually step back a little, then immediately switch direction and split simultaneously, almost guaranteeing death. Countering this requires you to perfectly predict when they'll change directions, but the exact timing depends on your opponent, so you better observe them do this trick with other players before you dare challenge them. This same strategy also works for other teams and bots. But note that bot users can regain their mass in mere seconds, so don't go splitting in a million pieces right after. However, the strategy completely changes when players are big enough to auto-split, turning the objective from gaining mass to knowing when to gain mass, since sometimes it's not the best idea to do so. For teamers, auto-splitting also allowed the birth of many other new tricks that are way too convoluted to explain. But they pretty much exploit auto-splitters to kill even the largest players. But in all honesty, the one thing that auto-splits have exemplified is how luck-based Agar.io really is, even without those annoying teamers. Take a look at this clip of a massive vanish split that killed everyone. Yes, the vanish split was skill based, but the auto splits after that were just lucky they went in those directions. Or this clip that shows a massive auto splitting merge kill. Now, merge kills with auto splits are possible, but they are highly dependent on the server's ping since the game only auto splits you after it recognizes your mass as higher than 22,500. If latency is low, auto-splitting merge kills would be impossible since the game would read it too quickly. But in laggier servers, the game would only auto-split you after the cell already merged. Another example that's often glossed over is how ejecting mass doesn't even eject in your direction since there's always a margin of error. When you're super large, losing to anti-teaming is the one thing that can stop you. So it's annoying as hell that plain luck is the reason you died. Because of this discovery, even the dedicated players left for Agar.io fan games as those games fix the RNG issues that Miniclip failed to do. But don't take this as ignoring the skill of this era's GOATs, since oh my god, they're so good, what? Before this list starts, it's worth noting that players starting this era prioritize getting the riskiest and craziest clips possible instead of having good long-term skill against teams. Nevertheless, all these players have more skill than just a few insane clips. Number 3, Gurio. You know this list is goated when the number 3 spot was one of the first to showcase the self-feeding technique all the way back in 2015. Just your casual pop splits, double pre-splits, reverse double splits to a pop split, whatever he did here, whatever he did here, and oh my god, what was that? 2021 Gurio was certainly one of the players of all time. Number 2, No Mask for You, or the other account the guy has. Second place is my guy Peter, who started back in 2020 and was most active in 2023. His many videos defeating botters and multi-boxers are insane! Like, how does he just know when to split? And what kind of score is that? What? I mean, CASEOH got a higher score than him, but you know. But his one main skill that put him on the list is his ability to defend his mask from other players. Even if he looks absolutely cooked, he still finds a way to survive, somehow. Although, as of 2025, all his past Agaria videos are unlisted and his new videos are now being posted on his other account, since his main channel was turned to a CASEOH clipping channel. Gotta have priorities, right? But most of all, I'd like to give massive thanks to him for inviting me to the solo Agaria player server, giving so much useful information that wasn't a simple Google search away, and helping me set up this private server that I use to showcase all the tips and tricks this game has to offer. So check him out at the top right or in the description. And number 1, Kalito Zoldyck. No, the Agario YouTuber Kalito Zoldyck, my bad. Formerly called Atomical and Blast, this guy has a history of being absolutely insane. But his peak was definitely from 2022 to 23, where he was the uncontested, sweatiest player the game has ever seen. The video's at normal speed, by the way. He even showcased a strategy to use the right-click button to quickly change direction. Yeah, it's very niche, but it's very useful when wanting a quick virus attack or frame-perfect trick splits. With all these players, you may be thinking, wow! Even without a major update since 2019, the Agario community just refuses to die. But sadly, all good things must come to an end with a bombshell. On June 5th, 2023, Mystic pinged everyone in the Agario Discord server, disappointed with the current state of the game. 500,000 players and his own NBK clan all gone due to Miniclip's negligence. And for once, he had the chance to talk with the CEO regarding these issues. And here is what he said. Quote, "I realize that PC is more interesting for you, but Miniclip's business has now shifted to mobile, where we need to focus our efforts for the future." Yep, in one sentence. Almost 10 years of community building in the original Agario, all destroyed with no hope of return. They abandoned the game they bought for God knows how long, added useless updates that don't fix anything, and just said, yeah, we're not working on this game anymore, fuck you. And there's a reason Zeach called their developers stupid. They don't care about their community, they don't listen to any feedback, and they only want more microtransactions and whatever this is. Even if they continued updates to Agaria Mobile, how many of them are just microtransactions, huh? I think just looking at the main menu screen is enough for you to figure that out. It's greed like this that makes you forget how classic Miniclip was for the early internet. But nowadays, their motto is to unleash the gamer in everyone, despite their newer games lacking any sense of personality. But you know, for all the OG players out there, we all have a saying. We never quit Agario, Agario quit us. Rest in peace to the original game, and welcome to the 5 people still watching this video, the 5th and probably the last era of Agario. But before that, Let's lighten up the mood a little and check out what Zeach has been doing this whole time. Contrary to popular belief, Zeach did make other IO games after DPO. So let's start with which was released on July 2nd, 2021 and was advertised in Agario's home screen for a while. Wonder how effective that was. In this game, you spawn as a little miner guy and dig dirt and other ores to gain more mass, which increases your health and damage to other players. The game bears some resemblance to Slither.io since it does have the same sprinting mechanic, along with an added crouching feature to heal your HP. The game is pretty bare bones, but there is some variety with the ore's power-ups, tons of achievements, and the multiple game modes present. Wait, this game has Battle Royale? Also, this game has a shop for cosmetics without needing microtransactions, since Zeach isn't a money-hungry multi-million-dollar company. Although, I gotta say, just be careful when recording this game, since there is no filter present.
Oh, Apple, don't kill me.
Let's move on to Planetar.io, which you can think of as a remastered version of Voir.io, where instead of a satellite orbiting the Earth, you are the Earth orbiting around the Sun, harnessing as many resources as possible to become the most dominant planet in the solar system. Dating back to around mid-2020, Planetar is much more complex than previous games, requiring you to upgrade various technologies to your planet to manage your planet's HP, fuel, and the 3 different currencies present, each having their own methods of obtaining. And remember that this is still an IO game, so you'd also have to avoid other players' attacks on top of everything else. It's unfortunate this game never got released, because I had a blast playing this early build, which you can download in the Floor.io Discord. I think I just spoiled the next game. Released on January 19th, 2020 and re-released on July 11th, 2022, Florio spawns you in a massive map as a little flower guy and requires you to kill mobs to drop petals, which give buffs to help defeat more enemies when equipped. You can also combine your petals for 3 times more stats, complete achievements for permanent upgrades in the talent tree, and explore the map to find new areas and items. However, this game completely contrasts every other IO game since you can't attack other players and can't lose your items even upon death. The game is basically a grindfest instead of an IO game, focusing on lengthy resource farming instead of fast-paced multiplayer. But hey, no microtransactions, so that's good. At the time of this upload, Florio is the only game still being developed, with new updates coming from Zeach every few months, and an active community that, say it with me now, I won't cover in depth because this video is too long already. But if you have some free time, check this cozy game out, because at least the game is alive, you know, unlike Agario, which is about to die already. Wait a minute, wait. No. Why is he playing this game? Why is he playing this game? Why is he playing this game? We are now at the final stretch of Agario ever since Mystic's announcement of its official death. You'd think that the community would be saddened by such news, but when 99% of the player base already left years ago, it's kind of obvious that no one was surprised by this. For the rest of 2023, pretty much nothing changed with the game. The only noteworthy thing to say is how players realize that the game inflates its own player counts to thousands of players, even if extensions let you see that there's only 2 servers available. But you know, when I finished the original script of this video a year ago, I expected to end the video right here. A bittersweet death to an otherwise nostalgic masterpiece. But in September 2023, a certain 2,000-pound streamer finally gave this game a glimpse of hope. And I think you know who I'm talking about. Yep, the moment you've all been waiting for. On a random Saturday night, popular streamer CASEOH decided to play the game for around half an hour and had an oddly fun time despite being hit with 8 ads a minute and being disconnected right after hitting number 1. Pretty expected for a man heavier than the solar system though.
What do you mean bro's built like a 1x1 Lego piece?
While many other streamers and YouTubers played Agar.io after its prime, what made CASEOH special was not only the hilarious stream snipers, but also that he came back to this game over and over and over again, bringing a new generation of players to the game and letting the OGs relive that 2016 nostalgia all over again. And hey, at least he got Battle Royale mode alive for the first time in 6 years. A couple months ago, I did try to stream snipe him, but you can only do so much when his 8 hours of streaming takes place at the same 8 hours that you are still stuck in school. So that didn't work. Regardless, CASEOH definitely had an impact and started 2024 on a high note, bringing attention for an Agar.io revival with a newfound attention to the game. Okay, I'm just kidding. Instead of taking advantage of CASEOH's popularity, they instead added a black bar at the bottom of your screen that needs external extensions to remove. Are they just trying to lose money now? Obviously, this, along with not being able to even play the game, CASEOH eventually quit the game as well, turning almost daily Agar.io streams to only sporadic gameplays here and there as of 2025. Oh, Miniclip, you guys are too kind. Even letting some guy have 4 alt accounts in one server too.
Wow, I wonder if there's a cheater in this lobby, chat.
But seriously, ever since CASEOH played the game, the servers got 10 times worse than they already were. It was kind of understandable to lag or disconnect when there were 100,000 players on your game, but Agar.io barely averages 200 players now, and good games can just shut down with the snap of my finger. That wasn't a joke, by the way. There's been talk of bot users being able to shut down servers as they please. Look at Agar.io clips from 2024 onwards, and half of them end in server crashes. It's kind of a miracle someone brought attention back to this game that isn't just for nostalgia bait, because god, this game has become unbearable. On the community side, nothing noteworthy happened aside from players changing their content to CASEOH shorts for ad revenue, and Redditors wondering if CASEOH could revive the game. Obviously, the answer is still no, since playing without any streamer in the server is a fate worse than death. After CASEOH's visit to Agar.io, the game has basically remained unchanged until this day, aside from a random update in January 2025 that added veteran skins until level 150 that are ugly. Really, really ugly. But still, even with the lackluster lead to its 10-year anniversary, the community, whether on mobile or PC, remains strong. And I commend everyone that still finds some enjoyment in this hell. Currently, the web version is barely holding on to existence, averaging only a few hundred concurrent players, with over half of them just being bots. The abandoned state of the game leads me to no surprise if Miniclip decides to just take the game down. However, they still make tons of money from ads by large streamers who want to nostalgia bait thousands of naive viewers to believing that the game is still worth playing. So I see this game surviving for at least a year or two until its inevitable demise. Because of this, the future of this game lies in its mobile version, which has been the more popular game for over half a decade now. Considering that videos on this version still get thousands of views, even with its nasty microtransactions, I see Agar.io's legacy being held here for at least 3 to 5 more years before yet another downfall because... come on now. It's kind of a shame that one of the most influential games on the internet has come to this, and I spent the last few years of my life researching on such a niche game. But hey, if there's one thing I gotta say, nostalgia always wins.
Oh, Apple, don't kill me.
And to wrap up the 2-hour film that you probably slept through or just skipped to the end for, let's have one more round of...
I don't know, looks kind of suspect. to be an imposter. Here's to the ones that we get.
Hey, yo, start gooning.
Okay, one more GOAT list to go. One more list, and I'm done! Even if this era was pretty dry in terms of new talent, there have been a handful of new players who I've enjoyed watching for the past 2 weeks. Number 3, Michael. Originally a player for Nagario fan game, he recently switched to the original game and is basically a second No Mask for You and Colibri after both players quit the game. His consistent uploads and high skill gameplay have been really entertaining for me. Not the craziest player ever, but I still appreciate that there's still people playing this awful game every week. Number 2, CX. Okay, I gotta confess that I didn't put him on this list just for his YouTube videos, since there are only 4 available. But he does frequently post clips on Discord that kinda scare me because of how aggressive he plays. And I mean, you know someone's tryharding when they use that damn right-clicking technique. But sheesh, man! His split timings are elite and super satisfying to watch. With how boring the game has been nowadays, finally there is someone to add some spice to their game against literally everyone else. So thank you CX for your service and enjoy your trip in Thailand. And number 1, Godly. With a player this good, I won't even be surprised if this guy isn't even human with how many clips he has. Oh my god! Not gonna lie though, I should have put him in my era 4 GOAT list with how frequently he uploaded back then, but I decided to put him here because I gotta save the best for last. If only the devs cared enough to keep these players playing, since every single one but one has already quit. But well, what can you do? All we can do now is to enjoy the game and its 10-year-long history and inevitably quit just like everyone else. Now, before I wrap this whole thing up, I have one more surprise to give for y'all. One that I dedicate to everyone who watched Jumbo back in 2016. What if the original Jumbo, with the same iconic editing, played the game in 2025? Well, thanks to a 2015 UI extension given by Gurio, a lucky game that I had a few months ago, and 4 days of learning After Effects, that question can now be a reality. So enjoy this one last game. Almost 2 years later, here we are at the very end. Oh my god! If you watch the entire video from start to finish, I give you much of my appreciation because man, that was a long time of watching, huh? But if you didn't, in conclusion, Agar.io is pretty much a dead game. Even if it used to be loved by millions of players for its simplistic yet chaotic MMO gameplay. Although starting out as a casual time consumer for 4chan users, the game had serious potential to become its own esport because of the presence of professional players, tactics, and even its own professional clans, even if this game is a little unorthodox to have them. Although many believe that its fall from grace was inevitable, the game lasted multiple months in its prime and spawned an entirely new genre of game with their own sub-communities that enjoy these kinda casual yet semi-professional, simple MMO games. Unfortunately, with the original creator gone and the new owners caring about microtransactions and their other titles instead, it's sad to say that Agar.io's own community has officially given up on the game coming back to its former glory. The only people playing the game nowadays are those who don't even care about the game's original rules. Well, fair enough, since Miniclip never cared about them in the first place. Although there still are a handful of great Agar.io content creators that have stuck to the original core of the game, it's unfortunate to say that they will never get any of the recognition they deserve, aside from this video, since they're not just sailing a sunken ship, but they're sailing a ship that's basically at the bottom of the Mariana Trench by now. Even with this train wreck of a game, Agar.io still holds a special place in my heart, as it is a game that I've been playing for over 9 years now. But still, I have absolutely no hope that this game will regain the popularity that it had in 2016, even with CASEOH's regular streams on this game and this passion project getting kinda popular on YouTube. I hope. With all this said, if you're one of those people who grew up watching Agar.io YouTubers and you haven't played the game in over half a decade now, I do hope you guys return to this game for 1 or 2 tries when the servers aren't down, since it doesn't hurt to bring back some good old nostalgia, baby. Even if the internet has housed hundreds to thousands of nostalgic masterpieces, the experiences gained from them are one of a kind. And it took me 2 hours just to explain this one. So for all the effort I put into this video, you better like, subscribe, comment, report. Okay, but seriously though, I'd like to give a massive shout out to Peter and the Solo Agar.io Players Discord server for helping provide so much research and information that I couldn't just get from a simple Google search. And as a reminder, everyone else who deserves credits are in the description below. And honestly, that's pretty much it. Agar.io will never be solved, but we can keep on hoping. Cheers to everyone who watched the whole thing, happy 10th anniversary to the game, and of course, thanks for watching!
Hello, this is Zencat, and I edited a little part of this video. Thank you so much for watching this passion project.
Hello,
the
people of
himself, and there is actually only one thing that I want to say. I must give a toilet. Grimace Shake in Ohio with maximum signal male gigachat big chuggas doing the goofy